Ooh, a little chillier here today. 22 degrees. Overcast skies, the Mayan Riviera. So I know it was super cold. James said, geez, you picked a good week to go away. It's been absolutely bitterly, frigidly cold all week long here. We had a ton to school today. 7 to school. 6 or 7 went behind the gate. I think one was Mario's horse. So 7 went behind the gate today at Mohawk Raceway in schooling fashion. I'll bring that to you. Somebody messaged me the other day and said, why would you buy Royston's Punch? Well, I'll tell you right now, I'd like to have horses that can climb the ladder, right? He's a non-winner's a 4, non-winner's a 5 trotter that hopefully can climb the ladder. That's why we bought him. We want to, as we buy horses, like, we were fortunate. Swan's Honey's been a good mare to us. Somebody called today looking to buy her, and I said, no, claim her. Come get her next Thursday if you want her, I suppose. But I still think there's $9,000 sitting there in Swan's Honey. She's got 90,000 made. That class has been opened and opened and opened. Now it sits at non-winners of 102,000 for fillies and mares. If you want to claim her. But we're going to hopefully take that last 3,700 plus the claiming price we can get next Thursday. Now move horses like her that are getting out of their classes, right? Jekyll and Hyde, another one. You didn't win the other day, so he's fine. He's fine in there for another week. But as we move those horses out, if we can replace them, so to speak, with a Royston's Punch, and obviously the purchase price totally different. But if we can have a horse leave that is a non-winners a 2 condition claimer, and replace it with a horse that could be a very solid non-winners a 5 and up trotter, it makes sense. Right? To me, that makes all the sense in the world. So Royston's Punch, the problem we had with Royston's Punch when we got him was there's a snowstorm coming on the East Coast, and we're having a really tough time. I had 3 shippers tell me they could get him to Northfield on Tuesday. I said, that's unacceptable. I called Doyle Transport and coerced them a little bit. I didn't have to, though. They had a truck leaving for New Jersey today and coming home tomorrow, so they could ship him to Ontario, straight to Ontario. Now, how's that look? I have to be in Ontario Tuesday night, or in Ohio Tuesday night. I guess we just train him Tuesday at the farm and see how he feels, I guess, and go from there. I guess schooling him Wednesday, I wasn't really super enthused with schooling him Wednesday at Northfield Park. If I had to, I would, but I would rather get him over Mohawk. So maybe a stiff training trip at Mohawk on Wednesday, or, as I said, a training trip at Tomiko Training Center. We'll see how that plays out. But for right now, goal number 1 was to get Royston's Punch in our hands, whether it be in Ohio or Ontario. As I said, James made sure he reminded me every day how bitterly cold it is in Ontario. Today was very, very cold. Tomorrow, even colder, James said. And this kind of throws a monkey wrench into a couple of horses in particular. James called me and said, listen, Aglariam and Will to Win Hanover were supposed to win the race bike at Mohawk on Saturday. Surely we're not going. And I said, well, no, I'll leave that up to you. I'm certainly not going to sit in Mexico and tell you, get over there and train that horse now. If it's too cold to go, it's too cold to go. There's 52 weeks in a year. Will to Win Hanover is one of our best horses training down last year. We all think very, very highly of her. And Aglariam, I think the world of the filly. We paid her into some 4-year-old stakes, some pretty hefty stakes. She could be literally any kind of 4-year-old. So, no, I'm not going to potentially harm them, training them in minus 30 weather just to get them ready to qualify. Today was cold enough. It was like minus 20, 19 or 20 by the time they went over there. It's cold. And yeah, they race in it, but that doesn't mean they have to. Aglariam can train next week. Now, I looked at the long-range forecast. Next Saturday's supposed to be cold too, but next Wednesday's supposed to be okay. So we may have to pivot and train the babies on Tuesday and take some 3-year-olds over the track on Wednesday. If in fact training days at Mohawk are on Wednesday, they are, I believe they were last time I checked. It used to be, I'm not used to this, right? It used to be throw your horse in the trailer and go to Mohawk. Now there's Mohawk training days because of COVID. So we'll see how that plays out. But step 1, obviously, for us today, is me sitting here, is to get Royston's Punch back to Ontario, I guess. Secondly, we have scratched, so to speak, Eglarium and Will de Windhandle from training tomorrow. We'll move them to Wednesday. That makes a lot more sense. To move them to Wednesday and have a couple other 3-year-olds go over, maybe we have to move the babies to Tuesday next week and then back Saturday. But again, it's going to be cold on Saturday. That's that. Now, let's get to what took place today. So I was waiting. I never had a whole lot to do. I was sitting at the pool and said to James, and Jason sent me one video. It was kind of blurry. I said, just let me know when they go, how they went. Let me see. Jason said, Captain Michael Dio, Sylvain Filion went with, put him on the front. A little surprised, but it's cold out. Again, this falls under beggars can't be choosers because we had 7 horses to school, and not a lot of drivers are going to go over there when it's minus 2 million. So Captain Michael Dio, Sylvain said, touching his outside knee, a little bit sulky, but here's a maiden pacer, and the horse that blew by him down the lane was Kings County. Little unfair to him, not really where I want to see him, but not really where Sylvain would ever put a horse. Obviously, he felt that that's where he wanted to be with him today, and that's where he was. Further to that point, this is a horse that probably we was on our castration list. We are going to castrate him on Tuesday. Sylvain did use the word sulky, a little sulky, so he doesn't need those testicles. That's been proven. So we're going to castrate him and Bolt Power on Tuesday morning. I wish I could have done them Saturday, but the vet said they couldn't until Tuesday. But a mile and 58 or 59 on a very, very cold day. So good for him. Now, James told me that Kings County was absolutely bionic. He loves the horse. Obviously, this is a horse with some older issues in his front legs. If we can manage those issues consistently, that could be a scary, scary animal. James was extremely happy with the way the horse went. So keep your eye on Kings County next week. Massive Profit trained well also today. Now, Mario had said 2-4 last half in a minute and a bitterly cold day, Anthony. Now, he didn't know I was just talking to James and I was about to talk to Harry. So I got the bitterly cold from everybody. He said it was really, really cold out. He went a mile 2-4 last half in a minute. And he said, we qualify him easy next week. I said, hold a second. There's no rush with Massive Profit. This horse is going to have trotting 56, 57 right out of the gate. He's now Mars 2. I said, that's where, just so you know, that's where I won him 56-3 with Aldis Patrick 3 weeks ago. So there's no point schooling him in 2-4 on a cold day and saying, okay, let's go. School him back in 58, 59 on a nice day. And then we'll qualify him, and that's what I would expect and hope that he would do. Now, a little different situation with Stonebridge Acadi. This horse also 2-4 last half in a minute. He said he was very happy with him. Now, you look at our spreadsheet, so to speak, for our trotters. Stonebridge Acadi's getting ready to go to the maiden. We have a couple of horses qualifying in Ohio this week also. But for now, Stonebridge Acadi, maiden, potentially, whether that be Mohawk, London, Flamborough, I don't know yet. That'll be up to Acadi. Massive Profit. Right, whether that's non-winners at 15,000 at Flamborough or London, or the non-winners at 2 at Mohawk. I would suspect it's the non-winners at 2 at Mohawk, but again, there's the non-winners at 2. Aldis Patrick is about to exit the non-winners at 3 into the non-winners at 4. Royson's Punch, non-winners at 5. Locatelli just above him. Locatelli just above him, and then we have Globetrotting, White Tiger. We get a full dance card. Not to mention we have Yes. Stonebridge Simba is coming back. We get a full dance card of very, very good trotters now. Just a matter of where, when, and how we race them will determine how the rest of our winter and spring looks. So, Massive Profit, Stonebridge Acadi, both schooled 2-4 last half in a minute. Mario said he was very happy with him. The other horse was... the other driver was Chris Rogers on Stonebridge Acadi, so he went well also. Better Be Sawyer, 2 minutes on a very cold day. Harry said Chris Rogers went with her and said she was very, very good, so that's good. She'll be qualifying next week. No Free Lunch was absolutely awesome today, I'm told. They were very happy with him. He'll be qualifying next week. And then Bolt Power, again, 58, 59, something like that. He'll be qualifying next week also. So right now I'm looking at 7 horses on a list here. Kings County, Captain Michael Dio, Massive Profit, Stonebridge Acadi, Better Be Sawyer, No Free Lunch, and Bolt Power all ready to go. Now, Bolt Power and Captain Michael Dio are going to be castrated Tuesday, so they'll need 10 days probably till they race. Maybe a little bit more, maybe we'll school them in between, but they're ready to go. Will do in Hanover, and Aglariam knocking on the door. Now, if Stonebridge Ducati is good enough to go into the non-winners of 1, non-winners of 2, then I would at Mohawk, I would like to see him elevate out of the non-winners of 1 and just move Will to win Hanover in there. So no rush with her. Like, if she needs another 3 weeks, then so be it. So we have a lot of horses to move around here. Also, a number of horses here, as I said, ready to school, qualify very close to the races. And then you factor in Ohio. We have Matt's MVP qualifying next week. Kathy with an eye, depending on how she trains this week, will be qualifying the following week. Also, no, I'm sorry. Matt's MVP is qualifying this week. Matt's MVP is qualifying. So is Granite Hill. Kathy with an eye, think she needs another week. Now, those are 3 horses of particular note. Well, 2 of them anyway, because they are in the sale. But they're not going to the sale. I made my mind up. Unless Matt's MVP or Kathy with an eye just look atrocious on Wednesday, which I highly doubt they will. They're not going to the sale. And Voyage of Ice and Fire just isn't ready to go yet. I can't make a haphazard decision with him. I don't want to make a knee-jerk decision. Say, oh, he only trained in 210. I would take him to the sale. It's all he's ready to go right now. The timing didn't mesh. It didn't add up for the sale. We ain't need to have a definitive answer on Voyage of Ice and Fire, and I just won't have one on Wednesday. So the only horses of ours going to the sale are Prairie Fire and Hill of Magic. I've had a number of people call me on both of them. I was very upfront. Hill of Magic broke her foot last year and is rehabbing, has been swimming for 6-8 weeks now, and is ready to start jogging. Prairie Fire re-injured that left hind leg. It's stretched out. When we ultrasounded it back at the start of the year, there was no core tears, holes, or lesions. It was just stretched out. So again, it's going to need to be full-on rehabbed for the next, for the foreseeable future, and I certainly can't put a timeline on that. So any prospective buyers can go ahead and do that. No doubting or denying his talent. You look back to his official June qualifier, 59. He was awesome. Looked very, very good. And then I'm telling you, we schooled him at Christmas in 58-4, 59, 58-3, something like that. And he was very, very, very good. I was heartbroken and shocked that he come up sore afterwards. But those 2 horses will be heading to the sale. Jekyll and Hyde, as soon as he wins again, he'll be going to On Gate. My Jazz is. I had a couple of people ask me and said, well, why wouldn't we just retire My Jazz now? It's easy to say, right? But you do have partners on My Jazz, right? It's a partnership. And Jason had messaged me last week and said, hey, I've trained My Jazz. I get along good with her. I know her good. I'd like to drive her in the amateurs a couple of times if you wouldn't mind. If you don't want to, that's fine. And I said, yeah, why not? What's the rush? She's not, this idea that she has to rush out to the field, be put on the lights because she can't get in full. If not, we sent, perfect example, we sent Canadian Titan out to Winback Farms. She was in full in 1 week. No lights, no nothing. She got in full. Capistrano, we sent her down to Joe McLeod at Sugar Valley Farms. He got her in full. Boom, just like that. So this idea that she can't get in full is just not accurate. There's no information to support either argument. She may not, but I don't know why a very healthy horse wouldn't. So My Jazz, now listen, if she goes out and just gets beat up in the amateurs and just isn't quite up to racing against those aged horses like that, then yeah, I'm not going to keep putting her in there. But if she goes out and wins the amateur, wow, I mean, to have an avenue for a few more weeks for that filly to race, I wouldn't shy away from it. It makes no sense too. And the idea that she somehow, needs to go to the breeding shed right away because, she's nice and filly, right? She had a good 2-year-old year and a very unfortunate 3-year-old year, but it's not like she was one of the best fillies in North America. She was just a nice trotter. So yeah, we're going to race her in the amateurs for a few weeks. Hopefully, if it's a disaster next week, then we'll just chalk it up to, and turn her out and breed her. But that will be up to Big Jazzy. If anything, she's shown she's pretty resilient, so I wouldn't worry about hurting My Jazz's feelings pretty good. She's tough. She's as tough as they come. Compass Rose DC, another couple of question marks with her. If she can't do in this class and she has to stay in here for a few starts, then yeah, I guess we're going to have to take a serious look at what we're doing with her. I don't know if I feel super comfortable with her in the amateurs. But again, these are horses that there is a gap there. There's a gap between where we are today and where we would be to breed her, right? So, in a perfect world, in my mind, it would be end of February we start breeding these mares, not worrying about it right now. So there's 2 horses in particular, right? Jekyll and Hyde will be sold. My Jazz will be going out to the field. Compass Rose DC will be going out. Again, those 2 are going to be bred. Swan's Honey will be leaving us at some point in a few weeks. So it's great to replace these horses with some really, I would say we're trading up, so to speak. So hopefully we have some good luck with Royston's Punch. It looks like if we could keep all the wheels tight on Kings County, he's going to be a super asset. Not too often. I know James, known him my whole life. I've certainly known him as a driver since he sat in the race bike, and especially a kid that drives a lot of horses, you don't get a ton of excitement. It's like, yeah, nice horse, seems really good. He was gushing over Kings County today, so if we can keep this guy sound, we might have a real ace in the hole there with this guy. So with that, you guys are all up to date. It is Friday here. I'm pulling out on Monday. I will do your videos tomorrow. Now they'll be a little watered down. I haven't seen the horses all week. The 2-year-olds haven't trained. There's not a ton to talk about more than what we just talked about, but I will. I'll get your videos done tomorrow. But for today, that is it. I'm calling it a wrap. It's 5:30 at night. We're going to be going to dinner here in a couple hours. Maybe get up to some shenanigans later on. Anyway, I am... this is as unwound as you're going to see me for quite some time, I think. So, having a great time here in Mexico. Thank you all for the kind words and the well wishes. It is nice to... as I said, this is relaxed as you're going to see me. Take care.